What's up, guys? We are back with another Gundam Robot Spirits review, taking a look at one of, if not my most anticipated Robot Spirits for the entire year, because it's from one of my favorite Gundam shows. We're taking a look at the RX-79G Ground Gundam. So, of course, this is from the 8th MS Team series, which is just one of my favorites. I absolutely love this show. I'm actually currently watching it again for like the 50th time, I don't know. But I really, really love this suit. It is, in many ways, an army builder too, and I'm getting pretty crazy, and I'm actually going to try to slightly army build this thing. I've got 2 already, and I'm going to go for 3 or 4, just to have a little squad, because, you know, that was the big focus for the show, was that you had a squad of ground Gundam. So I'm really, really excited about this guy. You know, it comes in like your standard Robot Spirit style package. So you've got a shot of the RX-79 there, locked in battle with a Zaku. You've got a little tiny little window that you can, you know, kind of peek out the Gundam in there. And then you've got some product shots on the spine showcasing the figure, how it moves, the ton of stuff it comes with. And then the back of the box, again, has more of the same that we expect to see with this line. So more product shots showcasing how it moves, showcasing some of the finer points of how it moves, as well as some more of the accessories. So let's do it. Let's pull them out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Robot Spirits Ver Anime Ground Gundam. Again, one that I've really been looking forward to. I love the show, 8th MS Team, or 8th MS Team. I always call it 8th MS Team just for whatever reason. And then I love the suit design. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with this. It's an army builder Gundam, so it's not just a mobile suit. It's a legit Gundam that is also an army builder, which is not the most common thing. And I really, really like this suit. It's still very classic Gundam, but it's got its own quirks about it too. So let's see what this guy can do, see how it moves around. It's still fairly normal for Robot Spirits, which is a good thing. So we've got a head that can look up about this far, maybe about that far. It's got a post inside the head, and you can get it up that far before it starts to really come out. So it's got good range there. Down is really nice. There's not too much tilt, but a little bit. And then you've got full rotation, get it back in there. Full rotation as well. Arms out at the shoulders. Of course, they rotate all the way around. We've got the sort of chest flex for a slight butterfly. It's not perfect, and they never are with these. But for what they are, I love the design. I just think it's cool that they do that, so you can see that piece sort of flex there. We do still have a bicep swivel up in there. It's hidden really well by the pauldron. Double jointed elbows, full range, and then for the wrist, it's like a 2-stage joint. So there is a ball peg here, so swivel, rotation, all that, but then the coupling on the inside of the wrist itself, of the forearm, moves. So the range is really, really nice up and down, and then you've got a little bit of flex in and out. The torso is pretty good as far as a crunch. I mean, it's a mech, so it always has some limitations due to the design, but it's pretty good. There are certainly better figures in the Robot Spirits line when it comes to this. Nothing backwards, though. Not really any tilt either, just a little bit of bobble. And then for your twist, you've only got about this far. So you can get him into a walk or a run pretty easily. As far as legs, they go out thanks to a drop down about this far. You got to watch it. You're going to pop the legs off. It's just a ball peg. So they go out about this far, roughly. And then kick those legs back up. Skirt piece will go out, and then they kick forward all the way. They kick backwards slightly also. You do have a thigh twist up here, so it twists at the socket, but then there's also a real thigh cut up there, hidden by the leg itself. So full swivel up there. Really, really nice double jointed knees. And then you've also got some hidden articulation like this. This piece moves for beam saber hilt storage, which I just absolutely love. We've got pretty nice rocker down here at the ankle. So pretty good. There's a lot of stuff going on down here. Kick backwards pretty nicely, and you can see this, the foot sort of separate as it does this. And then it will kick forward really, really well. Also, you do have the moving armor piece down here also to kind of cover the joint work and the hole that you make. You kind of cover that yourself, you know, pose him and then put that back in place. So he's pretty normal. Like, again, there's not really anything here that's too surprising or too out of the ordinary, but that's not necessarily a negative thing. I love the way that this line moves in general. Very, very fluid, very easy to pose. I wish it had a little bit more of a twist at the waist, but otherwise, it's pretty much exactly what I was wanting it to do. Aesthetically, I'm very happy with this thing, though. That's really where my interests lie. I mean, I say that a lot with a lot of different lines, but when it comes to this line in particular, aesthetics matter because they're going for anime accuracy in as many ways as possible. So this guy has very normal Gundam leanings. Like, it's still through and through it, obviously a Gundam. You know, it's very clearly Universal Century Gundam. I mean, it's as close to the regular Gundam as you're going to get in terms of timeline, really. And I think that they pretty much nailed it for the most part. Coloring, in particular, is one thing that I was really curious about, because it's not white. It's not a white suit. It has that sort of, you know, off gray, off white kind of coloring, and I think they got it pretty well. It's not too dark and it's certainly not too bright. It does have a lot of different little colors here and there. You know, you've got your reds and your yellows, you've got blacks and yellows, you've got the very asymmetrical chest design, which I really like just because it breaks them up a little bit. You've got the yellow, you've got all of the instruments here, you've got the red on the chest as well, and I think it looks really, really nice. Sizing looks good. You know, it's of course a Telltale Gundam, so, you know, kind of stocky at the top, tapers in at the waist, and then you've got those big tree trunk legs, which I really like. I love the kneecaps on this thing with the 3 prongs down here. You know, of course, this is a suit that often gets down on its knees, so it sort of digs into the ground. The backpack is, again, a separate piece, and I guess we could talk about it as an accessory, but I really, really like this. It's so stupid because of the backpack, but it has functionality when it comes to how this suit operates and what it does in terms of the show. So, you know, it is storage for a weapons canister. So it does have its own articulation. So you've got things like this that allow you to actually utilize that functionality. And we'll talk more about it here in a minute when we actually get to accessories, but it's very cool, it's very different, and it works really well while also looking very, very functionally sound too. I think it's just a really cool looking figure. You know, there's a reason why I said I wanted to get a handful of these, because it is a very unique Gundam. In many ways, it's a very unique standard Gundam, and I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense, but it makes sense to me as I'm saying it. It is a very classic Gundam, but it has its own things about it. It's very specific in terms of some of its construction, like these pauldrons, and then of course the torso with its very asymmetrical design. The kneecaps are just another weird little thing that sticks out to me that I kind of remember about it, and I really like seeing that here. The head sculpt, I think, is pretty nicely done. If there's one thing about this figure that I don't know if I think it's not wrong, but I think it kind of annoys me, is the way that the sort of armor over the eyes kind of obscures the eyes a lot of times. Right now, you know, it's pretty decent, but in certain angles, it's kind of hard to get those eyes into your sight line. It's more of just a posing thing, but overall, I think they really nailed the aesthetics here. A lot of it comes down to the coloring and just the overall design of the suit translating pretty well into figure form. The face looks really good. The touch of black, the little, you know, the beard as usual, and then the V-fin on it just stands out really nicely. That yellow and red stands out very starkly against the sort of, you know, off gray, light gray color, whatever color you would call this. It works really nicely. So there's a lot going on here in terms of little things that make the Ground Gundam very unique, and I think they really, really nailed it. It's just a cool looking mobile suit made into figure form. Now, when it comes to accessories, this is where this figure, and well, I mean, it's kind of a Robot Spirits thing in general, this is where this figure kind of ramps up because there's a lot in this box. There's a lot going on here, and that is a Robot Spirits thing, but it's also very much a thing for the Ground Gundam because of what they were in the show, how they worked as a team, and then how they were, you know, as far as supporting each other when it comes to various components and how they delivered weaponry and supplies to each other. So it gives you a lot of that. To start with, we get a bunch of hands, so you get standard gripping hands in the box. You get the tree of hands, and then you get a fully open set, a kind of relaxed open set, a tight gripping hand, which is really like a small trigger finger, and then you get a big trigger finger. So 2 different sets of gripping, and then 2 different sets of style pose relax. We get 2 beam sabers. So you get the hilts and the beam, and then of course, like I said, the hilts can be stored in the calf armor down here at the bottom, so you can pop those off and store them away, which I always like. So you get these. We get a slashing effect, so that makes 3 beam saber effects, and I always love getting these just because they're so expressive. And then you get an actual beam cannon beam, so same kind of effect, just larger. You know, here it is by the beam saber for comparison, so a little bit bigger, and you get these sort of conical blast effect thing that you put on the muzzle, like a muzzle flash, basically. So you do something like that. So I love getting those. It's always nice to have that stuff. You also get an extra V-fin, you know, if you break it or if it falls falls into the carpet, you never see it again, you get an extra. We get the shield, and I love the design on this. It just pegs into the wrist, and then it's got like a cantilever set up here, so it can be extended, and it can be, you know, pushed out so you can whack somebody in the head with it, and then it can be rotated in there also. So it does have a little bit of movement potential, but it also looks great, and it's very much a hallmark design for the ground Gundams. And then we get to the actual gun. So you get the submachine gun. It's got that sort of movable brace here. You've got a removable magazine, and then you can see that these might look familiar. They're on the skirts for this guy. They're removable as well. So if you want to set the scene where you've actually had to reload, you've got options for that. So this one and this one pop off. This gun is modular, and we'll talk about why here in a second. And then we get the big cannon, which is one of their more iconic guns. This can be completely broken down. We'll talk about why in just a second. You've got a movable grip on the side, you got a movable trigger, and then you get a removable magazine also. So this thing has no paint on it, but it looks great, and it's really big. You know, it's basically as tall as the figure itself. And then we come to the most interesting aspect of the accessories on this guy. This is the backpack, you know, cargo combo. So I've already talked about this and how the backpack works. So it all folds up, but it's meant to store the cargo container. And this is how they transported their goods and all their supplies and weaponry around. So you've got this guy here, and these pieces open up, and you've got, sometimes they'll pop out, you know, you got to watch it. You've got the magazine for, this thing has been sticking on me. We've got the magazine for the cannon. You've got your broken down machine gun. And this comes with a little base. This piece right here, you take the gun apart and you put it on. And it's all in the instructions. I'm not going to go through it. It's very simple. They just pop apart. So you've got that. And then this, if I can actually do it, this is the cannon right here. This thing is that cannon that we just talked about. It was this. This thing breaks down entirely into this, and then you set it inside the little cargo cube here, which I just think is the coolest thing. I love it. For someone who really likes weapon storage, you know, that's me. I say it all the time. This is really cool. It's fun. It's functional. You know, if you're into setting a scene with these things, if you want to set a diorama or anything like that, this is prime stuff. Like that's the kind of stuff that you live for, because you never get this kind of stuff elsewhere. So I think it maybe increased the price tag on this guy just a smidge. But overall, you get so much iconic accessory stuff with this guy that I'm really happy to see all of this in the box, even though we still have accessories coming in that future option set. So yeah, overall, this guy is an absolute winner, and I'm not surprised it's a winner, but I really do like this release. Not only is it one of my favorite Gundams, it moves really well and looks fantastic, but it's a complete package in many ways. Sure, there's an option part sets to make it even more robust, but there is a lot of stuff in this box, and I really can't state that enough. Tons of hands, multiple beam sabers, multiple energy effects. We get moving backpack parts. You can break the guns down and completely store them inside that cargo container. There's just a lot of cool stuff about how this figure works and what it comes with that, of course, has made me want to get a handful of these, because when it comes to ground Gundams, you can't just have one. So that's going to do it for this look at the Robot Spirits Ver Anime RX-79G Ground Gundam. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.